Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you more books that I bought. I have a problem, you guys. I cannot stop buying books. A lot of these I just have acquired a lot of books. I need to share them with you today. So let's just get into it. These have come from a variety of different places. You will have seen, if you watch my channel earlier this week, I did a little free library tour. So the books that I picked up in that tour, I will show you today. I also ordered some books online, Amazon, things like that. And then I also got some used books online, so I will share those with you as well. So let's start with the books that I got from my little free library tour. A couple of children's books that I picked up. I have The Story of Ferdinand by Munro Leaf. This is Ferdinand the Bull. We did not own a copy of this yet, so I went ahead and nabbed that out of a little free library. And then I also picked up the Little Critter, Little Red Riding Hood Lift a Flat book. We have Jack and the Beanstalk version of this. I think this was a Kohl's Cares little like special edition thing that they did, and I found this one. My son has been loving Lift the Flat books, so I grabbed that for him. A couple middle grade books that I picked up. I have Cursed by Bruce Coville, and it says meet Angus. Angus is a brownie. Don't even think about calling him an elf. Angus has a tiny bit of a temper problem, so when an ancient curse binds him to the world's messiest kid, watch out. What happens when magical creatures move into the modern world? So it has different illustrations throughout it, but I've seen this a lot at the library and stuff and have been curious about it, so I grabbed that. I also grabbed a copy of The Trumpet Swan by Evie White. This is a children's classic that I didn't own yet, and I'm actually not really sure what this is about. It says the rest of his family, Louis is a trumpeter swan, but unlike his four brothers and sisters, Louis, I guess it's Louis, I don't know if it's Louis or Louis, can't trumpet joyfully. In fact, he can't make a sound. So yeah, anyway, we'll see. Another one I got that is actually a library discard, so I'm assuming it probably came from a library sale at some point, is Emmy and the Incredible Shrinking Rat by Lynn Jonell. And this is one that my daughter read in school this year, my fourth grader, and I've been curious to read it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. It says, Emmy was a good girl. At least she tried very hard to be good. She did her homework without being told. She ate all her vegetables, even the slimy ones, and she never talked back to her nanny, Miss Barmy, although it was almost impossible to keep quiet some days. She really was a little too good, which is why she liked to sit by the rat. The rat was not good at all. No idea. We shall see. All right, and then I picked up 3 different adult books. The first one I got is Little Fires Everywhere. This has recently been made into a Hulu series. It's very hard to get your hands on this at the library these days, and it's actually one of my book club picks for 1 month coming up here soon. So I went ahead and grabbed this, but this I think has to do with like a neighborhood, and I think it has to do with adoption maybe a little bit, and birth families and adoptive families. I don't really know. But I've been curious about it because I've seen it around quite a bit. I also picked up Barbara Kingsolver's The Bean Trees. This is about Taylor Greer, who, and I don't know when this is set, in the 70s maybe, would be my assumption. But she grew up poor, and she basically buys a 55 Volkswagen and heads west, and then she runs into a 3-year-old American Indian girl named Turtle, or she inherits this girl. Like, I have no idea what that means. So yeah, what follows as Taylor meets the human condition head on is at the heart of this memorable novel about love and friendship, abandonment and belonging, and the discovery of surprising resources in apparently empty places. So we'll see. Barbara Kingsolver is an author that I really want to read some stuff from. And then I found a paperback of A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. This is the same author as A Kite Runner, and I already own this in hardback, but I prefer paperback, so I went ahead and grabbed this, and I'll take my hardback back to a little free library. But I have no idea what this is about. I'm assuming that it is set in the Middle East, though. We'll see. But I've heard multiple people say that that is one of their favorite books of all time. Those are all of the books that I've got at the Little Free Libraries. And then I bought a couple of books from Krista at Books and Jams. She did she was unhauling a bunch of books, and so she did like a little sale on Instagram. And I bought a couple of books from her, and the two books that I bought from her sale are The Boston Girl by Anita Diamant. I honestly have no idea what this is really about. I just know I read The Red Tent by Anita Diamant, and I've been curious to read more from her. April from Getting Hookah With It has said that this is really good. So I picked this one up, and it kind of seems to be just about this woman's story of her life, maybe. I don't know. And then I also picked up from Krista The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend by Katarina Bavald. And this came across my radar during Gilmore Girls readathon. Last October, I did a kind of a Google search for books to read if you like Gilmore Girls, and this one came up, and it is about this little town, Broken Wheel, in Iowa, and there is someone that comes to town from Sweden just to meet her book-loving pen pal, but when she gets there, she realizes that her pen pal has died, and her funeral is just getting over, and so she decides to basically stay there and open up a bookstore and learn about the town. So I got that one from Krista as well. So thank you, Krista, for those two books. I appreciate them. And then the rest of these I bought online. So some of these are from Amazon. Some of them are from Book Outlet. I am not currently shopping Book Outlet because of some things that have gone on with them. But I'm not going to get into that too much here. Some of this stuff is from Book Outlet. I'm not going to decipher between what is and what isn't because it's not important. All of these books you can find other places. So let's just kind of get into all of this stuff that I got online. So the first book that I bought is Nick Stone's Clean Getaway. This is Nick Stone's most recent book that has come out. It is a middle grade about this boy who goes on a road trip with his grandma. And I guess you find out that they're on the road trip, but you don't know why. And you kind of pick up pieces along the way as to why they're on this road trip. But I've heard that this is amazing. Honestly, I bought this because I wanted to support Nick Stone. I think that she has done a huge amount for just humanity in the past few weeks, and all of her own volition. And so I just wanted to support her. And so I bought this, but also because it sounded really good. So I read Dear Martin. It was okay for me, but I would like to read a middle grade by her and see if I like it better. So, all right. Another one that I bought is The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. This is a book that came highly, highly, highly recommended by Krista, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I went ahead and just finally bought it. But this is about Anthony Ray Hinton, who is arrested and charged with 2 counts of capital murder in Alabama in 1985, and he spends a few years on death row, and he is wrongfully convicted of these crimes. He's completely innocent, and it's just about his life, kind of combating that, and a story. It says How I Found Life, Freedom, and Justice. So I definitely wanted to read this. This is his lawyer was Brian Stevenson, who wrote Just Mercy, which I read earlier this year and loved. And so yeah, very excited for that one. One that I bought that is a cover buy for me is Caterpillar Summer by Gillian McDunn. And this one sounds so good, you guys. As soon as I read the synopsis, I knew I had to have it. It's about Kat and her younger brother, Chicken. And she knows that he loves sharks. She knows him best. She knows that he loves sharks. He does not like loud noises, tags in his shirt, or being called Henry, which I'm assuming is probably his name. And that sometimes he has bad days when only a good back rub will calm him. So it sounds like he might be on the autistic spectrum. And so when a summer trip doesn't go as planned, they must spend 3 weeks with their grandparents that they've never met in a place called Gingerbread Island. At first, Kat is wary of these strangers, but life on the island feels different. It's easier, simpler, and Kat feels more like a kid than she has in a while. So it sounds like it's about a sibling of someone with special needs and how she kind of copes with that. So I really, really am excited about that, and I think that the cover's beautiful too. I was able to find, I bought last year at a library book sale, it's probably still up here, yeah, this version of Peter Pan. It's these Puffin chalk editions, and I was able to find Black Beauty in the same edition. I just need to take the sticker off of it, but I just love the cover of these classics. There's I think there's like 4 or 5 different ones that they published in these covers, but I was able to find this one, and so I went ahead and grabbed that. And Black Beauty has been a classic that has been recommended to my kids quite a bit, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to have it on hand. I also picked up, this is another cover buy for me. This is Call Me Sunflower by Miriam Spitzer Franklin. And let's see, Sunny Beringer hates her first name, her real first name, Sunflower. And she hates that her mom has suddenly left behind her dad, Scott, and uprooted their family from New Jersey to North Carolina just so she can pursue some fancy degree. Sunny has to live with a grandmother she barely knows, and she's had to leave her beloved cat and all her friends behind, and no one else seems to think anything is wrong. So she creates Sunny's super stupendous plan to get mom and dad back together, a list of surefire ways to make her mom and Scott fall madly in love again. But while working on a photo album guaranteed to make mom change her mind and rush them back home, Sunny discovers a photo, one that will change everything, or that changes everything. Struggling with the complications of new friends, a precarious relationship with her grandmother, and now this enormous secret, it seems like everything in her world is imploding. Now she'll have to reconcile her family's past and present, or she'll lose everything about their future. That sounded intriguing to me. I also finally picked up a copy of The Thing About Jellyfish by Allie Benjamin. This is one that I've just seen a ton of places. It's another middle grade, and it is about a girl who is dealing with grief, and I think her best friend dies, and maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances surrounding it is, but it's about a girl whose friend dies and her grief. I know that. So I grabbed that one. Excuse me. Another cover buy for me was Dear Hank Williams by Kimberly Willis Holt. This is set in 1948 in Louisiana, and it is about a girl who is given an assignment to learn the art of letter writing, and they have to have pen pals, and she decides that she is going to write Hank Williams, who is her favorite country music singer. And it's about her and her great aunt and great uncle listen to him every night on the radio, and she just knows that she and Hank are kindred spirits. And so it's epistolary, it's told all through novels, and it's just about this girl who's learning to find her voice, and that just sounded fun for me. I like the historical aspect of it and the epistolary aspect of it both. So I grabbed that. All right, moving on. Next, I have In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. I don't know if I said that right. This is about a girl who escapes North Korea. It's a nonfiction memoir. I have been wanting to read this for a while and finally got around to picking it up or buying it. So at least it's on my shelves now. I also picked up Daughter of Molokai by Alan Brennert. This is the sequel, companion, to Molokai, which is about a leper colony in Hawaii at the turn of the century. And this is the continuation of that, or the side story, I think, to it, without giving too much about Molokai away. All right, I have a few more middle grade books here. I have a Warriors Cats book that I got for my kids. They are still super obsessed with Warrior Cats, and so I picked up Tiger Heart's Shadow, which is one of the super editions. I have loved how much my kids are loving this series. This series has completely pulled them in. There are, I think, 5 or 6 different story arcs that have 6 books within each arc, and then there are a bunch of super editions that are available that are quite a bit bigger than the regular size book. And then there are novella bind-ups where it's like 3 novellas in a book. There are graphic novel, they say they're manga, but they're written like graphic novels. There's a whole fandom online that you can be part of. My kids have gone in deep on this series, guys, and if nothing else, I'm glad it's gotten them to read, because my oldest daughter has read like 40 some books out of this series this year. So at least that came out of it. It's just been wonderful. And it's about feral cats that live like in a forest behind a logging, not factory, farm, whatever. So, yeah. Another one I picked up, I got The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundell. Okay, I have been on a Catherine Rundell buying spree, and I have yet to read any of her books, guys. I need to stop buying her books until I've read at least one of them. So, this one, though, it says wolves, like children, are not born to lead calm lives. Theo's life is extraordinary. She and her mother trained domesticated wolves to fend for themselves in the snowy wilderness of Russia. She loves working with the wolves, especially the 3 that have been wilded, but refuse to leave her. They're half wild, not pets. But not everyone is as enamored with the wolves, especially General Rakov, who intends to take everything Theo loves. Or Theo, maybe? I don't know if I'm saying that right. And soon, in order to save her mother, Theo must travel through the icy woods to St. Petersburg and learn to trust strangers whose lives have been similarly tainted by the general's cruel deeds. I did not know this was set in Russia. Now I'm intrigued. All right. Another cover buy for me. Guys, me and these cover buys, I cannot, especially with middle grade books. The Someday Birds by Sally J. Pla, I'm guessing. It says, Charlie's perfectly ordinary life has been unraveled ever since his war journalist father was injured in Afghanistan. When his father heads from California to Virginia for medical treatment, Charlie reluctantly travels cross-country with his boy-crazy sister, unruly brothers, and a mysterious new family friend. He decides that if he can spot all the birds that he and his father were hoping to see someday along the way, then everything might just turn out okay. So yeah. Sounded interesting. About birds. This one I got only because of the cover, because I think this cover is gorgeous, and apparently there's 2 more books from this author who have equally gorgeous covers. But this is Where I'd Like to Be by Frances O'Rourke Dowell. You guys, isn't that gorgeous? I just cannot. All right, a ghost saved 12-year-old Maddie's life when she was an infant, her Granny Lane claims. A girl should always feel special with that kind of start, but it's hard to feel special when you've spent your life being shuffled from one foster home to another. She'd trade special for a home any day of the week. Maddie even has a book of houses in which she glues pictures of places she'd like to live. Then one day, a new girl, Murphy, shows up at the East Tennessee Children's Home, armed with tales about exotic travels, being able to fly, and boys who recite poetry to wild horses. When Murphy offers Maddie something she's never had before, Maddie begins to wonder if she's been thinking about home in entirely the wrong way, and if she might not be so special after all. That to me sounded absolutely amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to read that one. All right, let's see what else we got here. Gotta pull the rest of them over. You guys, I'm telling you, I buy too many books. I'm definitely not buying any more books for a long time. A graphic novel I picked up. This is I Am Gandhi. I've read this already. It's actually very, very thin. This is by Brad Meltzer, who writes the Ordinary People Change the World series for kids. They're children's books that are biographies about different historical figures. But he put together this graphic novel all about Gandhi. And the thing that I love about this is that each page is done by a completely different artist. So you have this page, and then the next page is completely different style of art. And it tells the story of Gandhi's life through all of these different artists' contributions. And it's so, so good. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a list of all the artists in the back. This is how many artists worked on this, guys. It is amazing. Sorry if you can hear my kids screaming. But yeah, so all the 28 creators of this book have agreed to donate their work so that all of their proceeds can go to the Seeds of Peace, an organization that we feel embodies Gandhi's mission. So this is an amazing, amazing resource for anyone who wants to learn about Gandhi's life, and just the art in it is fantastic. Highly, highly suggest you check that one out if you have not already. Another one that I've already read that I just finally got around to purchasing is Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. This is the second book in the Beartown series. I don't know if that's the name of the series, but it's the sequel to Beartown, and I know there's another one coming at some point. Beartown is about a town in Sweden where it's a hockey town, and the star hockey player rapes a girl in town, and it's about that. This is the sequel to it. It is fantastic. I preferred Beartown, but not by much. I still love this one. All right, another middle grade, I think this is middle grade, is Call of the Wild by Jack London. This was just a classic that I hadn't owned yet. I found it for cheap, and it is, I like this cover quite a bit. So yeah, went ahead and grabbed that one. All right, and then the rest of these are adult books. So the first one is Small Admissions by Amy Popel. This is one that I have had on my TBR for a long, long time and just found and knew I wanted to get it. I just think this cover I love. So this is about this girl who basically got dumped by her boyfriend and is in self-pity mode, and then she gets this job at a day school, and she's the admissions person for this like very prestigious day school, and she's having to do all these interviews of these kids to see if they can go to this school, and it's just like about her life and coming to terms with what's going on in her life and that, and I don't know, it sounded fun, so I got that one. Another cover by for me is I Will Always Write Back, How One Letter Changed Two Lives by Caitlin Aliferenka and Martin Ganda with Liz Welch. So this is about, it says it started as an assignment. Everyone in Caitlin's class wrote to an unknown student in a distant place. Martin was lucky to even receive a pen pal letter. There were only 10 letters and 50 kids in his class, but he was the top student, so he got the first one. That letter was the beginning of a correspondence that spanned 6 years and changed two lives. In this compelling memoir with an updated epilogue for this edition, Caitlin and Martin recount how they became best friends and better people through their long-distance exchange. So I guess Caitlin lived in the United States and Martin lived in Africa. So that sounded amazing. So I grabbed that. And then I read As Bright as Heaven at the beginning of last month, I think, and found two more Susan Meisner books that I wanted to get. I got Secrets of a Charmed Life and Bridge Across the Ocean. I think one is during World War II and one is post World War II. They're both dual timeline. That's all I really know about either one of them. But I really, really loved Susan Meisner's writing in As Bright as Heaven, and so I knew I wanted to check her out, so I grabbed both of these. But I'm not 100% sure really what they're about. And then I also picked up Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch. I don't know if this is adult or YA, but it is a romance that's set in Ireland. That's really all I know. And there's another one called Love and Gelato that is set in Italy, and then there's one coming out that's set in Greece. And I don't remember, it's Love and something else. I don't remember, but it's set in Greece, and so I didn't realize that this was like a series that this author was going to do where it's all these different romances set in all these different countries, and I think that that's so much fun, and so I wanted to get this one and read it and check it out to see if I liked it. And then the last thing is this. Nope, this is not the last thing. I have one more. This is one that I got used online, so I just finished reading Everything Else in the Universe by Tracy Holzer, and went online. I loved it so much that I went online to see if she had any other works that I could buy, and I found The Secret Hum of a Daisy. This is actually a library cast-off. I bought it used, and I bought it from betterworldbooks.com. I don't know if I've ever really heard anybody talk about betterworldbooks.com. They're very similar to thrift books, and a lot of people talk about thrift books, but betterworldbooks.com has free shipping on a lot of their used books. They're typically around $4 a piece with free shipping, and they do so much good. So I learned about Better World Books really quick before I get into this. I learned about Better World Books because I used to live in South Bend, Indiana, which is where they're located. Actually, I think they're located in Mishawaka, which is right next to South Bend. But it's basically these two students that graduated from Notre Dame, which is in South Bend, were trying to come up with what to do after school, and they are after college, and they decided to start this used books business. And basically for every book that is bought through their site, they donate a book to somewhere in the world where kids need books. And so you can kind of go on their website and look at the map and see where they've been able to donate books to. They box up boxes and boxes of books and send them to Africa. They send them into the inner cities in the United States. They do so much good, but very, very similar to thrift books in what you're going to find there as far as used books. So this was a library cast-off, which is fine. I just need to take the plastic off of it and it'll be fine. And it was $4. So this is The Secret Hum of a Daisy by Tracy Holzer, and it is about this 12-year-old girl who basically, her and her mom are like gypsies. They travel all over the place. They don't really have home. Grace is the 12-year-old, decides that she wants to lay down roots and just settle down. And her and her mom get in this big fight, and then I think it sounds like her mom dies, and now she is kind of coming to terms with all that. That's what this is about. I only bought this because I loved everything else in the universe so much. But this sounds amazing, and I can't wait to read it. And definitely check out betterworldbooks.com if you've never heard of them before. I will link their website down below. The last thing that I got is a puzzle book. So I got the Paint Doku book before and didn't really know what it was. And so after doing some of the puzzles in it, I wanted another one. So I grabbed another one. And this one's a little bit different, but they're basically just all these, you can't really tell, it's all these boxes. It's a chart with a bunch of boxes. And it's a puzzle book, and it's great for me for when I need something to do while I'm listening to audiobooks. So I grabbed that. That's it. Those are all the books. I don't want to count how many books this is because it's a lot, and I'm just going to stay in denial. What I don't know won't hurt me. So anyway, that's everything I bought. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you've heard of any of these, I would love to hear your opinions about them, obviously, down below. If you have now been prompted to pick up any of these, I would love to hear that as well. As always, I love talking with you in the comments. And yeah, other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!